I think
No,
so.
I understand you, Cats. And
Yeah.
I think I looked at one of these videos about code switching, and she made it seem like I've forgotten the name, but I mean it was like a TED talk thing, and she made it seem like it threatens diversity, in the sense that obviously now we don't have your originality on the table because you've had to code switch just so you can match what's happening, no? And that is true, and I think that's the message that you guys are talking about, because now you're phony, but at the same time we can't celebrate your character now or your mannerisms at work or wherever it is because now you've had to code switch.
Yeah, but you see, as much as I understand that, my nigga, but you remember what you said yesterday, though.
What did I say?
You said there are some people who simply just don't have a personality, man, that's desirable. And those people feel like, man, if I'm going to be myself around these people, chances are
They're
I
gonna
won't
bully
be
me.
accepted.
Exactly. So
Right,
that's where I
so
was
let me
gonna
just-
go. That's where I was gonna go because you cats like brought up this whole thing about like you might be phony when you code switch. So then I was just saying that that is true because then we get to a point where we have similar characters on the table because code switching for a role, so you're playing a role basically, exactly. So it's like, so you might be phony in that sense, and also in the fullest extent, we don't get to celebrate you. And then that's where you come in and now say like, okay, sometimes we can't celebrate that because it does not fit. And then like with the person that you say with a personality that is just unbecoming.
Okay. Yeah.
So you might feel a need or a sense to code switch because of that.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. Some people, my man, I think code switch more for power. It's almost like with the archetypes of Young. I'm sure you know Young, right? Since you're a Jordan Peterson fan.
No,
So he has those three archetypes, right? What is it? There's about identity. There's the persona. So the persona is the person that you pretend to be so that you can interact with the world.
Okay.
That's the person you feel like the world wants to see, man. I'm not sure how to explain.
Let's see.
It's almost like, that Tupimba butterfly poem that Kendrick Lamar says. People try to be the butterfly, not the caterpillar.
Okay.
So you try to show the most perfect version of yourself in public. And that in a way is almost like code switching because you're sort of playing it safe, man, in a way. Okay, this is the person I think most people are more likely to like. You see? Because
or the person that you desire for yourself as well. Like it might not necessarily just be because you want people to like you. There are people who are purposely rebels, but they want that message to what do you call it? That's what they're trying to sell.
Yes,
as a
it's
person.
a narrative they're trying to push
Exactly. So we are kind of walking narratives at the end of the day.
forward. Exactly.
If you aspire to be a boss and you carry yourself out that way, and it's a narrative that you're pushing. At the end of the day, now it will come to a time where you get tested now, and then now show us those boss qualities. Then now you get some perspective. Now, like, hey, I'm not yet a boss,
Yes. That's what happened to Plies. Because he came up saying that he was a gangster rapper.
Oh yeah.
Then that nigga was pressured, Niggas pressed him, They show us, my nigga. Show us the thug.
I think it was
Okay.
Jamie Foxx. Jamie Foxx was saying a story there, like saying something about how I think they were supposed to shoot a video, and then Plies at the time I think he kind of put himself as a poster child for gangsterism in the hip hop industry, And then I think some niggas came there to the set trying to jump him, then he was like kind of like hiding behind Jamie Foxx and hiding and everything. Like that's what my dude. Like you just said like you're gonna bust a gun now. Like what the hell is happening?
Yeah, but that's the thing, man. I feel like Plies obviously knew that for me to make it as a rapper, maybe at the time gangster rap was the thing that was like bling bling. You know how in the bling bling era, you had to be a thug and a gangster, man. And he came up at the time.
Yeah,
So I think he felt like, hey, man, I need to push this narrative, man, that I'm a thug or else I'll be rejected in hip hop. At the time,
And it was an
shit.
environment on that
It's the
during
environment,
that time.
yeah.
Exactly.
So you have to behave
And we also
towards
have
the
a very
environment.
perfect example with 6ix9ine.
Exactly.
That dude had some gang affiliations, and then when it was crunch time, he snitched on everybody just so he can go out.
Yeah. But the funny thing is with him, he managed to turn that thing around, then made money out of it. He's
Yeah,
now a
of
troll
course.
now.
Yeah,
People
of
don't
course,
take him
yeah.
seriously anymore, and that's his new persona now.
Yeah.
He's like the cat who doesn't want you to take him seriously. The Booba songs, the sharks with the grills, colorful, flamboyancy.
I like the shark on there.
I like the shark, man. Yeah, the shark is cute.
But man, if you, I'm just thinking about it now. If you speak of fitting in, I think sometimes a good thing as long as you don't, overcompensate or demoralize your values and your morals and all that stuff. I still think it's fine that way. I think the moment you trample upon your values and your principles, then it's something else.
Yeah, just so
I
you
think
can
code
fit in,
switching
yeah.
is- I
And
think
then it
code
becomes
switching is-
toxic in that way
yeah.
because that's how people build resentment. Like you've been, like, what can I say? Holding yourself, or what can I say? Like restraining yourself from being your fullest extent, they're hoping for favor. Like you were saying, like when you code switch, you're kind of wanting favor from people. So now you're code switching, and you morph into this kind, subtle person, or maybe one that doesn't talk a lot, and then you're doing that so you can gain favor from people, and that does not happen at the end of the day. You might now get resentful now and say, but I did this, they just so I can fit in, and and now I didn't get the price.
It wasn't appreciated.
Yeah, so that does happen, man. But I think it's just a risk, man. The thing is, it's like this thing, man. I think it goes hand in hand with the whole ego death type of thing, man.
No,
like as you live, you go through that cycle of ego death and rebirth, which shapes who you are. That's your personality. Your personality will always be the same. It will just be evolving according to the mistakes you make. It's almost like when they say the greatest fool is the person that doesn't want to become a fool.
Okay.
So you need to somehow, I feel like it's important for you to throw yourself in the deep end, man. And code switch, make those mistakes. And then when you realize that, okay, this was the wrong way of doing it, you break the house down and build from scratch now.
Oh, yeah, of course.
But in a way, by doing that, you're building a stronger foundation each time you keep destroying the house. Your foundation is becoming stronger now because your experiences are helping you to shape yourself to become the person that you're supposed to be eventually.
I see.
But I think you're more likely to code switch a lot if you're in a wrong group to begin with, man. Because then in that group you will not feel like you're being accepted, man.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So now you have to code switch even more now, which is almost aligned with the previous episode now of simping. I always feel like it's some type of simping in a way to belong into a specific group. Because you feel like I'm not wanted here. Maybe if I act like I'm part of the group now.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
And show more characters that are endemic to the group, maybe I'll be accepted. Knowing that inside you're actually restricting yourself from being the person you want to be. You see?
Yeah, it's all...
Also from the code part of the word, I think code switching is still going to be around as long as there's diversity.
Man, code switching will
we are way too different as people, and we speak different languages and different cultures. So sometimes for example, when you go to your culture, there's a thing that are frowned upon.
Yes.
So I have to code switch in order to switch from you.
Yeah, especially if it carries punishment. Like, I mean, I can now just, like, think of a scenario where I might have to code switch. Like, I'm obviously not well versed with the street lingo, like, but if I have to go to Kayaliche or to the hood right now, like, I feel like I will stand out if I continue to just speak English in the way that I speak it.
Definitely.
Like, and you know what it's like, it's rough out there. When you're new, you're subject to robbery and stuff like that, or being ridiculed, or being, called derogatory names.
But if you can blend in and speak the way you speak, then
you
you're not an easy target. You survive in that way.
Yeah, but I feel like, I think there's always... I think it's important for you, obviously, to know how to blend in. But, I feel like some things, man... this inability to stand out as well, I still feel like is a disservice to oneself, man. Because I feel like if you're trying so hard to just blend in and not try and stand out to be your own person, you might also have resentment in the future now.
No,
that's true. But I guess
you
like
just blend in so much that one day you're like, I never actually did the things I wanted to do, man, because I was afraid I might become an outcast to these cats. They won't accept me.
But I mean, it just goes back to what I just said about principles and values. Exactly, if those are still intact, but you can still go switch, then I think that should be fine. There shouldn't be any problem. But then if you change your principles and values to accommodate people, and then that's the problem.
Exactly. So it's like here, it's a matter of survival now. I just found myself being in Kayaliche, my dude. And then I kind of have to code switch a bit just so I can survive the scenery that I'm in. Otherwise, it's like, at the end of the day, I'd much rather not go there. I don't want to go and fit in, but I found myself there because maybe I have a task to carry out.
Yes,
so I will code switch there.
Yes, I get it. That's more of a momentary type of thing.
Yeah.
It's just to survive that specific situation and be out of there, right? But there are specific parts where you're sort of trapped in a specific thing. There's simply just no way out of you but to code switch until you die. Like, for example, at work. It doesn't matter, man. Even if you don't want to code switch at work, you have to code switch at work. You'll be having board meetings. You'll be having all kinds of, where you meet people who are coming to your work, your boss, your colleagues. You'll have to speak in a specific way. The funny thing is, man, at work, you'll make friends there, right? And you'll find yourself speaking in a slang type of street way.
Yeah, that happens, of course,
right? And you might slip in a way while speaking to your boss. Sometimes you even become friends with your boss. And you don't even have to code switch anymore. Some people do that. They sort of hack the system in a way.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
And present, and they feel like they don't have to code switch. They might code switch only if it's like really, really, really formal times, like where there's a board meeting, I have to present maybe my results or whatever it is that is happening. And then I'll code switch for the time. But somehow they've made their environment, they've terraformed It's called
Okay.
terraforming, right?
Yeah.
Where you change the environment to suit your own needs. So some people do that, and I think those are the people that I admire myself. Because I don't like feeling like I'm not being myself, man, at all times.
Yeah, so then you don't belong to that situation because it's like looking at work, no? There's rules to the shit. You kind of have to be a certain way when you're there. Being professional allows you to, what do you call it, like convey information and carry out tasks in the most efficient way.
Yeah, for sure.
Such that there is no misunderstanding. I can now say a slang term and people don't understand what it is exactly I am demanding of them. You know, which is why professional behavior is a thing that you need to morph into when you're at work. No?
I feel you, man.
So it's much like when you're playing soccer on the street. Street football has different rules to when you go to the thing.
actual
When you
thing,
don't do the
yeah.
thing, you get there's a penalty for it. You know. So that's what I'm saying. Like depending on where you find yourself in, if it's life threatening, by all means, code switch if it will save you.
Yes, no, look, don't get me wrong, man. I'm not against code switching in the workplace or speaking or doing things in a professional way. What I'm saying is there are always loopholes to certain things. You can still do your work. Obviously, if you're communicating to someone in a way where it's about work. I don't think at work you're always speaking about work, man. I might just have you here as my nigga. That's like if I have my cubicle here and your cubicle is there. But when I speak to you, it's not always going to be about work. There's always break, obviously, lunchtime, and we're just outside speaking. Yes, we might say a bit about work while having a conversation. But I'm sure we'll speak about other things, your movies or whatever, especially if you're friends or with your close friends, right? So in that way, I can still sleep myself to be myself in that occasion.
And you're saying this as a phenomena that happens. Like you think people still are code switching even during break time.
Some people do, my man, especially people who
that's
want
a
to be
little messed up
respected.
for those people.
Especially people who want to be respected. There are people who want power, my man. They're at work all the time and they always try to play a character because they feel like if they break this character, they might you might not start becoming too familiar with them now. You get what I'm saying? Especially if they are above you. They are your managers or your bosses.
Yeah.
So they keep you at that specific place. You know those cat people?
Yeah.
I would rather fucking go home and sleep with my cats than to be friends with these cats.
Oh, I see. Yeah, exactly.
So they're stuck in their persona, man. They have code switched so much to the point whereby they feel like this is the way now.
Bruh, I think this is probably why I'm not even excited about this lockdown thing finishing, because now you got to go and now deal with these people.
Yeah.
You know, at some point they subject you to subtle forms of sabotage. Like, you know, you ask for one thing, and because they want you to keep you in that position there where you are less than them, you know, there's always stuff happening, bro. So it's like I'm not excited at all.
But I think you know ladies like that, right? You know when people say, this person was meant to become a CEO. It's because your temperament, man, is just...
The way you carry yourself.
The way you carry
demeanor.
yourself is just so professional that even when you're not at work, even with your kids, you're so formal and so cold, man. You're just like that.
No,
which is why we have to change your demeanor to code switch. Because we can't stay with the same demeanor.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
Speaking
I think it's kind of stupid to be professional and a CEO inside the house.
I don't think you're trying, man. You're not. It's just you become so familiar with it.
Yeah.
It's like those people, man, when you get to varsity, the only thing they care about is simply their work, man. They're very good at what they do, but because they put so much effort into it. But it starts to bleed into who they are because they neglect other things.